Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to show you the top 7 ways to relieve low back pain. I'm going to show you some lying down, sitting in a chair, and even standing up. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So let's start with lying down. But before we get started, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you click on the button down there. And if you'd like notifications for all of my videos, don't forget to ring that bell. All right, let's lie down. So the first exercise is going to be a pelvic tilt. With the pelvic tilts, it's not a big movement, but you're really working all the muscles in your trunk and in your core to activate them together and to contract together. This is a great way to help relieve back pain. So with a pelvic tilt, when you're lying down with your knees propped up is what you want to do. You usually have a little curve in your back there. What you want to do is get rid of that curve. So you're flattening out that back. This is sometimes hard to get until you get it, and then it's easy to do. But I tell people sometimes if you're having a hard time figuring out how to rotate that pelvis, doing that pelvic tilt and flatten out that back, slide your hands into that curve and then push down into it, because you want to use the muscles back here, not squeezing here to get it down, but those back muscles pushing down just to get that pelvic rotated. So get that rotation and hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. So as you can see, it's not a big movement, but it's really recruiting all those muscles there. So just hold 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and do about 10 of those. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it's really effective, and that's really going to help that low back pain. Once you do that, then you're going to go into a bridge. Bridging is another one where it's working all of those muscles, but you need to do it correctly and you need to do a slow, controlled movement. So I usually tell people do one segment of a time at a time of your spine. So not just going up and down like this, which is a bridge, but using each segment of your back to control it and go up. So it's really up. You can do it smoothly. You don't have to do segment, 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 but you want to roll up and roll down. And so coming up, and you just want to get about level. You don't have to arch all the way up, because then that's going to hurt your back a little bit. And then nice and slow coming back down. So again, just starting off with about 10 of these. You don't have to do a whole lot. If you're having some low back pain, it might be a little uncomfortable to start with, but once you get those muscles moving, it should actually feel pretty good after you do 3 or 4. So if you can get to 10, that's great. If you can't, do like 2 sets of 5. So now we're going to do sitting in a chair. So another way to relieve low back pain when you're sitting is to use a cushion. The folks at Dr. Back sent me their Orthopedic Seat Cushion, and it's really great to use a cushion when you're sitting, especially if you're sitting for long periods, and that could be at your chair at work, it could be sitting in a car for long periods. If you happen to be wheelchair bound, using a cushion in your wheelchair is really important, and you can even take them on flights if you know you're going to be on a plane for a really long time. What's great about this specific orthopedic cushion is you can see here it's got little contours, and this is the front of the cushion. The hole goes in the back, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the reason this is good here is because that's where your legs go, and when you're sitting for a long period, a lot of pressure gets on the bottom of the legs there. And sometimes if there's too much pressure, you can have numbness in your legs, you can have that pins and needle tingling feeling. And with these contours here, that helps take that pressure off of it. So it's really, really nice there. The back with the opening here is really good, because if you have tailbone issues or coccyx issues, maybe you've had a fracture or it's really badly bruised, if you've had that, you know it's really uncomfortable to sit in any chair. And so with this opening, that takes pressure off that spot, so it makes it really comfortable. It's also great for sciatica or women who are pregnant, because again, with this opening here, that takes a lot of pressure off the low back, and so that takes away that pain, and it takes away all just that tension and hurt in there. So that's really nice. I'm just going to sit on it real quick and show you what I'm talking about. The hole going in the back here, and then you can see the little contour. So this is really nice, it's comfortable. You can see probably that as soon as I sit in it, I sit up a little bit higher. I get in that neutral position, and it's just really, really comfortable. So I like that a lot. The next treatment is the way to relieve pain is to do a piriformis stretch. And so the piriformis is kind of in that butt area. So when you're sitting for a long time or you just have low back pain in general, stretching out that muscle is a really good thing to do. So an easy way to do it when you're sitting is just cross your leg over into a figure 4, piriformis position, the figure 4, and keep your back straight. Then you're just going to lean forward. Just this much, I can feel a stretch. It's right here is where I feel that stretch in that piriformis. And the reason that's important is a lot of times when you have that low back pain, that sciatic nerve runs under that piriformis. So if it's tight, you're going to have a lot of that pain. Since this is a stretch, you want to hold that stretch for 30 seconds, and then you're going to do that 3 times on each side. I like to alternate sides because then it just gives the other side a little bit of a break. But make sure you keep your back straight. If you're curling over like that, I'm not really getting much of a stretch because it's taking the tension off. If I keep my back straight and lean forward just right there, I'm getting a lot of stretch. But remember, with the stretching, it shouldn't be painful. There should just be a lot of tension and maybe slightly uncomfortable. 30 seconds, 3 on each side. Another way to help relieve low back pain when you're sitting in a chair is just to do a trunk rotation, just stretching out those low back muscles. It's really easy to do while you're sitting. If you have some chair that you can hold on to, just turn and give yourself a little pull, stretching those back muscles into the rotation. So you can just relax that upper one if you want to. If there's an armrest, you can put it there. You don't have to pull. You can just kind of go back like this. Hold this one for about 5 to 10 seconds. It doesn't have to be a full 30-second stretch, and then rotate back the other way. So this one, you probably want to do, you know, the 5 or 10 seconds about 5 times on each side. Just a nice rotation and then rotation. That helps really loosen up those low back and mid back muscles. So if you'd like to purchase the Dr. Back Orthopedic Cushion, make sure you click on the link up here. So now let's do some stuff standing up. The next way to help relieve low back pain is a hamstring stretch. You can stretch your hamstrings a whole lot of ways, but I like a standing hamstring stretch because it's easy to do. You can do it anywhere and you don't need equipment to do it. So a really easy way to stretch your hamstrings, since they're attached to the hips, the pelvis there, and it affects the low back, is just prop your leg out and keep your back straight. This is another one just like the other stretch. You don't want to curl down. You want to keep your back straight and just bend at your hips. So I'm just going forward like this. I'm already getting a hamstring stretch there. If I were to curl my back, I can go further, but I'm just barely getting a stretch there. So if you keep your back straight and just lean at your hips, you're gonna feel those hamstrings stretching. So again, this one's a stretch where you want to hold it for 30 seconds and do that 3 times on each side. I like to alternate, like I said before, because then you just give the other side a little bit of a break. If you have something a little higher, like a stool or a chair, and you have good balance, you can prop it up on something. But again, then you have to have something to do the stretch. So I think this is just as effective as long as you keep that back straight and bend forward at your hips. So again, 30 seconds, 3 on each side. So the last way to help relieve low back pain is kind of going to be a combination move. This is going to stretch out your IT band, and this is also going to stretch out your QL, or your quadratus lumborum, and that's in the low back area. So both of these really affect the low back, and it can cause pain if they're tight. So I call this the ballerina move. I don't know what it's really called, but what you want to do is you're going to take this foot and put it back behind you. So it can be this way. We're going to stretch both sides, but the side you put back behind you is the same side where you want to take the arm and bring it above you. As you do that, you want to take the opposite arm and then kind of push it this way. So almost like a ballerina, you're coming over to the stretch here, and you should feel the stretch all the way through down into the IT band if you're doing it right. Sometimes for this leg here that's going back behind, different placements, a little further back, a little bit closer together, foot down, foot up. That makes a difference for people, but it's different for everyone. So if you're just doing this way and you're not feeling a big stretch, try moving your foot a little bit and then stretching again. So again, this is the 30-second stretch. You want to hold it for 30 seconds and then do 3 on each side. So again, up and over, down and through, and then just push that hip outwards to get that nice stretch in there. So there you have it. Those were your top 7 ways to relieve low back pain. If you're interested in purchasing Dr. Back's Orthopedic Seat Cushion, make sure you click on the link up here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking down here. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.